I was in my home office reviewing blueprints when my phone lit up with my mother's number for the first time in 3 years. Before I could speak, she launched into it. My sister Amanda was pregnant. Her boyfriend Derek had no job, and they needed a place to stay. My place, the house I bought with my own money after she threw me out at 19 for refusing to pay her bills. I almost laughed. Then I heard glass shatter downstairs. Someone was breaking into my house with a crowbar. My heart slammed against my ribs as I dropped the phone. Mom was still talking, her voice a distant buzz against my ear, but all I could focus on was the sound of splintering wood from my kitchen. I grabbed the baseball bat I kept beside my desk and moved quietly toward the stairs. The intruder was making no effort to be silent. I could hear grunting, the scrape of metal against wood, muttered curses. My hands tightened on the bat as I descended, each step careful and deliberate. The kitchen came into view, and there he was, halfway through my window, one leg inside, the other still dangling outside. He had a crowbar in his right hand, using it to pry away the remaining glass shards. He was tall, maybe 6'2", wearing a stained gray hoodie and ripped jeans. His face was red with effort, sweat dripping down his temples. When he saw me standing there with the bat raised, he froze. For 3 seconds, we just stared at each other. Then recognition hit me like a punch to the gut. I had seen this guy exactly once before, in a photo Amanda posted on social media 6 months ago. Derek, her boyfriend. "What are you doing in my house?" I said, keeping my voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding my system. Derek's eyes darted between me and the bat. He tried to smile, but it came out as more of a grimace. "Montgomery, right? Hey man, listen, this is just a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding," I repeated. "You broke my window with a crowbar." "Amanda said you agreed to let us stay here," he said quickly, still half in and half out of the window. "She said it was all settled. I just figured, I would come check the place out, see which room would work best for us. The door was locked, so I thought I would come in this way." Every word out of his mouth was a lie, and we both knew it. I pulled my phone from my pocket with my left hand, keeping the bat raised with my right, and dialed 911. His face changed then. The fake friendliness vanished, replaced by something uglier. "You are not calling the cops on me, man. I am family." "You are not my family," I said. "And you are breaking into my house," the dispatcher answered. I gave my address, explained the situation calmly while Derek started yelling, trying to pull himself back out of the window. But he was stuck. The broken glass had torn his hoodie, catching on something, and he was tangled up. He thrashed and swore, the crowbar clattering to my kitchen floor. The police arrived in 7 minutes. By then, Derek had stopped struggling and was just hanging there, defeated and furious. 2 officers, a man and a woman, assessed the situation with barely concealed amusement. They extracted Derek from my window, cuffed him, and listened to my statement while Derek screamed that I was selfish, that family helps family, that I was going to regret this. The female officer, whose name tag read Santos, asked if I wanted to press charges. I looked at my shattered window, at the crowbar on my floor, at Derek's hateful glare. "Yes," I said. "Absolutely yes." They took him away in the back of their cruiser, and I filed a formal report. Officer Santos gave me a case number and told me I did the right thing. I thanked her, but I felt hollow. This was not how I imagined my Tuesday evening going. I had barely finished boarding up the window with plywood when headlights flooded my driveway. A car screeched to a stop, doors slammed, and suddenly my mother and Amanda were on my front porch, pounding on the door. I opened it but stood in the doorway, blocking entry. "How could you?" Mom hissed. Her face was twisted with rage, her eyes red. "You had Derek arrested. Your sister's boyfriend, the father of her baby." "He broke into my house," I said. "Because you refused to help us," Amanda said. She looked exhausted, her face puffy, her hand resting protectively on her rounded belly. "We have nowhere to go, Montgomery. Mom is losing the house. Derek and I have no money. We needed you, and you just shut us out." "I did not shut you out," I said, my voice hard. "You shut me out 9 years ago, when I was 19 and Dad had just died and I needed support. Mom threw me out because I would not quit school to pay her bills. I was your brother, Amanda. Where were you then?" "That was different." Mom snapped. How? I asked. How was it different? You were being selfish, she said. You had a responsibility to this family. I had a responsibility to myself, I said, and I fulfilled it. I worked 2 jobs, finished my degree, built a career. I bought this house with my own money. Money I earned, not money anyone gave me. We are family, Amanda said, tears streaming down her face. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It used to, I said quietly, but you taught me it doesn't mean much to you. Mom's face went scarlet. She stepped closer, jabbing her finger toward my chest. You think you are so much better than us. You think because you have this house and your little job that you are superior. But you are nothing. Your father would be ashamed of you. That stung more than I wanted to admit, but I kept my face neutral. Dad would be ashamed that you remortgaged his house twice to fund Amanda's party lifestyle in college. He would be ashamed that you are in foreclosure because you cannot manage money. And he would be ashamed that you just sent your daughter's criminal boyfriend to break into my home. Derek is not a criminal, Amanda protested. He is now, I said. Breaking and entering is a crime, and that is not his first arrest either, Mom scoffed. You do not know anything about Derek. I know he has a crowbar and no boundaries, I said. That is enough. Mom opened her mouth, then closed it. Something flickered across her face. Calculation. She softened her voice, tried a different approach. Montgomery, honey, I know things ended badly between us. I know I made mistakes, but your sister needs you now. She is pregnant. She is scared. Derek made a bad choice tonight, but he was desperate. We all are. Then you should have called and asked like normal people, I said. Not sent someone to break into my house. Would you have said yes? Mom asked. No, I admitted. Not after what you did to me. Mom's face hardened again. Fine. Be that way. But you should know. That house you are so proud of, it should have been mine anyway. I frowned. What are you talking about? Your father had a life insurance policy, she said. $200,000. That money should have kept this family afloat. But somehow, you got your hands on it, didn't you? You took what should have supported your sister and me, and you used it for yourself. I stared at her, stunned. I never received any life insurance money. I did not even know Dad had a policy. Do not lie to me, she spat. I know the truth. I do not know what you are talking about, I said. I never got a dime from any insurance policy. I built everything from scratch. Mom laughed, bitter and sharp. Sure you did. Just like you are such a saint now. You are a liar and a thief, Montgomery, and I will prove it. She turned and stormed off, Amanda trailing behind her, sobbing. I watched them go, my mind spinning. A life insurance policy, $200,000. I had no idea what she was talking about, but something in her eyes told me she believed what she was saying. And if there really had been a policy, where had the money gone? I could not sleep that night. I kept replaying Mom's words. Your father had a life insurance policy. $200,000. I had never heard anything about it. When Dad died, I was 19, grieving, and barely holding it together. Mom handled all the estate details. I assumed there was nothing to handle. Dad worked a regular job at a manufacturing plant, lived modestly, and we were not wealthy. But a $200,000 policy? That was not nothing. By 6 in the morning, I gave up on sleep. I made coffee and sat at my kitchen table, staring at the boarded-up window. My phone buzzed. A text from my lawyer, Patrick Hayes, confirming our meeting about the breaking and entering case later that morning. Patrick was in his mid-40s, sharp as a blade, with a reputation for being relentless when it came to protecting his clients. I met him at his office downtown at 9. He greeted me with a firm handshake and a knowing smile. So, he said, settling into his chair, your future brother-in-law decided to redecorate your kitchen. Something like that, I said. We went over the details of the case. Patrick assured me that with the police report, the physical evidence, and Officer Santos' testimony, Derek was facing serious charges. Breaking and entering, possession of burglary tools, potential property destruction. He would likely take a plea deal to avoid jail time, but it would stay on his record. Good, I said. Patrick leaned back. Now, you mentioned something on the phone yesterday about a life insurance accusation? I hesitated. then told him everything. Mom's claim that Dad had a policy for $200,000, her accusation that I had somehow taken the money, my complete ignorance about any of it. Patrick listened carefully, tapping his pen against his desk. That is a serious accusation. If there was a policy and you were a beneficiary, you would have been notified. Insurance companies do not just hand out money without proper documentation. That is what I thought, I said. But what if there was a policy and I never knew about it? Then we need to find out, Patrick said. Do you have any of your father's old papers? I do, I said. He had a storage unit. I have been paying for it all these years. I could not bring myself to go through everything after he died, so I just kept it. Patrick nodded. Start there. Look for anything related to his employer, benefits, financial documents. If there was a policy, there will be paperwork. I spent the next 3 days going through that storage unit. It was harder than I expected. Every box I opened brought back memories. Dad's work uniforms, still smelling faintly of machine oil, his tools, organized with the precision he applied to everything. Photos of us as kids, Amanda and me smiling, younger and happier. And then, in a box labeled Important Documents, I found it. A life insurance policy through his employer, dated 16 years ago. Benefit amount: $200,000. Beneficiaries: Montgomery Hayes and Amanda Hayes. Equal split: $100,000 each. My hands shook as I read it. This was real. Dad had set this up for us, to make sure we would be okay if something happened to him. And I had never received a penny. I called Patrick immediately. He told me to bring the document to his office. Within an hour, I was sitting across from him again, the policy on his desk between us. This is legitimate, Patrick said, examining it. Your father set this up through his employer's group life insurance. If the benefit was paid out, you and your sister should have each received a check for $100,000. I never got anything, I said. Patrick picked up his phone and dialed. He identified himself as my attorney and asked to speak to someone in the claims department. After a few transfers and a 10-minute hold, he was connected to a representative named Julie. Patrick put the call on speaker. Julie, we are trying to locate information about a life insurance claim from 9 years ago. Policy number is written on the document Patrick provided. Can you tell us if a claim was filed and paid out? There was typing on the other end. One moment, please. The wait felt like forever. Yes, Julie said finally. The claim was filed shortly after the policyholder's death and paid out in full. 2 checks, $100,000 each, issued to the beneficiaries listed: Montgomery Hayes and Amanda Hayes. And where were those checks sent? Patrick asked. To the address on file, Julie said. She read it aloud. It was the family home, the house where Mom still lived. My stomach dropped. Can you tell us when those checks were cashed? Patrick asked. More typing. Both checks were cashed within 2 weeks of issue. Let me pull up the images. A minute later, Patrick's email pinged. He opened it, and we both stared at the screen. 2 checks, each for $100,000. Both made out correctly. One to me, one to Amanda, both endorsed on the back. But the signatures were wrong. I could see my name signed on the back of my check, but it was not my handwriting. At 19, I wrote with a messy, looping scrawl. This signature was neat, controlled, deliberate. Someone had forged it. Julie, Patrick said, his voice hard. These checks were fraudulently endorsed. The signatures are not legitimate. There was a pause. Sir, both checks were notarized. The notary's stamp is visible on the endorsements. Who was the notary? Patrick asked. A woman named Carol Brennan, Julie said. Patrick made a note. Thank you, Julie. We will be in touch. He hung up and looked at me. Montgomery, your mother committed fraud. She forged your signature, cashed your check, and stole $100,000 from you. I felt like the room was tilting. All those years. All that struggle. Working 2 jobs, sleeping on couches, eating ramen for dinner. I could have had $100,000. I could have paid for school, had a security net, started my life on solid ground. And she took it from me. Patrick was still talking, outlining next steps, but I barely heard him. I was thinking about Amanda's college tuition, her expensive apartment, her new car. I was thinking about how Mom always seemed to have just enough money to get by, even without a job. She spent my money. On Amanda. On herself. Patrick leaned forward. Montgomery, I need you to focus. This is criminal. Forgery, fraud, theft. You can press charges. You can also file a civil suit to recover the money, plus interest and damages. I looked at him. What about the statute of limitations? It varies by state. But for fraud, the clock often does not start. Until you discover the fraud, you just found out. We have a case. I nodded slowly. Okay. What do I do? First, we confront your mother. We present the evidence and see if she admits it. If she does, we have a confession. If she does not, we move forward with legal action anyway. I took a deep breath. Okay. Let me do it. But Patrick held up a hand. There is something else I need to tell you. I ran a background check on Derek as part of the breaking and entering case. Standard procedure. And? Patrick slid a printout across the desk. Derek has a record. 2 arrests for domestic violence against previous girlfriends. Charges were dropped both times because the victims did not want to testify. He also has an arrest for fraud involving a fake charity scam. He set up a fake donation page for sick kids and pocketed the money. He got probation. I stared at the document. Does Amanda know? I doubt it, Patrick said. Men like Derek are good at hiding their past. I thought about my sister, 7 months pregnant, tied to this man. She had no idea what kind of person he really was. I have to tell her, I said. Patrick nodded. But be prepared for her not to believe you. People in abusive relationships often defend their abusers. I know, I said. But I have to try. I drove to Mom's house the next afternoon. The family home looked worse than I remembered. The paint was peeling, the lawn overgrown, the front porch sagging. A foreclosure notice was taped to the front door. I knocked. Amanda answered, looking exhausted. Her eyes were red and puffy, her hair unwashed. When she saw me, her face hardened. What do you want? She said. I need to talk to both of you, I said. It is important. She hesitated, then stepped aside. I walked into the house where I grew up. It smelled stale, like old food and unwashed laundry. Mom was sitting on the couch, arms crossed, glaring at me. Come to gloat, she asked. I came to get answers, I said. I pulled the life insurance policy from my bag and set it on the coffee table. Dad had a life insurance policy, $200,000, split between Amanda and me, $100,000 each. Mom's face went pale. I never received my check, I continued, but the insurance company says it was cashed. Someone forged my signature. I do not know what you are talking about, Mom said, but her voice was shaking. I have copies of the cashed checks, I said. I have the forged signatures. I have the notary's name, Carol Brennan, your friend from church. The silence was deafening. You stole from me, I said quietly. You forged my name, cashed my check, and took $100,000 that was supposed to help me after Dad died. I had to, Mom burst out. You abandoned us. You walked out when we needed you most. That money was supposed to keep this family together. I did not abandon anyone, I said, my voice rising. You threw me out because I would not quit school. You chose to kick me out, and then you stole my inheritance. You would have wasted it, Mom said. You were just a kid. I used it to take care of Amanda, to make sure she had a future. Amanda was staring at Mom, her face white. You took Montgomery's money? I took care of this family, Mom snapped. I did what I had to do. You committed fraud, I said. You forged a legal document and stole $100,000. That is a crime. It was family money, Mom said. It should have gone to the family. It was my money, I said. Dad left it to me, and you stole it. Amanda was crying now, silent tears running down her face. I looked at her. Amanda, I need to tell you something else. I pulled out the background check on Derek and handed it to her. She read it slowly, her face going from confusion to horror. This is not true, she whispered. It is, I said gently. Derek has 2 arrests for domestic violence. He beat his previous girlfriends. He also scammed people with a fake charity. Amanda, he is dangerous. He told me those arrests were misunderstandings, Amanda said, her voice breaking. He said his exes were crazy, that they lied about him. That is what abusers always say, I said. Mom stood abruptly. You are lying. You are making this up to destroy Amanda's relationship because you are bitter and jealous. I am not lying, I said. This is public record. You can verify it yourself. Get out, Mom said. Get out of my house. This is not your house, I said. You are in foreclosure, and I am not leaving until Amanda understands what kind of man she is with. Amanda was sobbing now. The background check crumpled in her hand. I do not know what to believe anymore. Believe the facts, I said. Believe the police reports. Believe that Mom stole from both of us. Both of us? Amanda looked up, her eyes wide. I hesitated, then pulled out the second set of documents. Your check was also forged, Amanda. Mom stole your $100,000 too. The room went dead silent. That is not true, Mom whispered. It is, I said. I have the proof. Julie at the insurance company confirmed it. Both checks were forged. Both were cashed. Mom took the entire $200,000. Amanda stared at Mom. You took my money too? I did it for you, Mom said desperately. I used it to pay for your college, your apartment, everything. It was all for you. You stole from me, Amanda said, her voice hollow. You made me think you were sacrificing everything, but you were spending my own money. Before anyone could say anything else, the front door banged open. Derek stormed in, his face red with rage. He had been released on bail, apparently. What the hell is going on? He demanded. Why is he here? Derek, Amanda said weakly. He saw the documents in her hand and lunged for them. I stepped between them. Back off, Derek. You need to get out of here, Derek said, getting in my face. This is family business. You are not family, I said. Derek shoved me hard. I stumbled back but kept my balance. I warned you once. Do not touch me again. Or what? Derek sneered. He swung at me. I had taken self-defense classes during my years living in rough neighborhoods. I ducked, caught his arm, and used his momentum to take him to the ground. I pinned him there, my knee on his back. Amanda, call the police, I said. She did, hands shaking. Derek thrashed and swore beneath me. Within minutes, sirens wailed outside. The same officers from before, Santos and her partner, came through the door. When they saw the situation, Santos sighed. Really, Derek, you are on bail. He violated the protection order I filed, I said. And he just assaulted me. There are witnesses. Derek was arrested again, screaming obscenities as they dragged him out. Mom just stood there, frozen. Amanda collapsed into a chair, sobbing. I crouched in front of her. Amanda, I will help you, but you need to leave Derek. Permanently. And Mom needs to admit what she did. Mom said nothing. I stood. I am filing charges for the theft and forgery. And I am filing a civil suit to recover my money. Amanda, if you want, you can join the suit for your share. Amanda nodded, still crying. Mom finally spoke. You are going to destroy this family. No, I said. You already did that. I left. The next day, I received a strange phone call. A woman named Helen Torres introduced herself as a private investigator. She said she needed to meet with me urgently. I was wary, but something in her voice made me agree. We met at a coffee shop downtown. Helen was in her 50s, sharp-eyed and serious. She slid a business card across the table. I was hired by your mother's attorney, Donald Pierce, she said. He wanted me to investigate your finances, find evidence that your house was purchased with stolen family money. My jaw tightened. And I did my job, Helen said. I dug into everything. Your bank records, your employment history, your mortgage documents. You know what I found? What? That you built everything legitimately. Every penny you earned is documented. You worked yourself half to death for years. There is no stolen money, no fraud, nothing. You are clean. Then why are you here? I asked. Because the case your mother's lawyer wanted me to build is garbage. It is a malicious, frivolous lawsuit designed to harass you, and I do not do that. So I am warning you, Donald Pierce is planning to file a civil suit, claiming you owe your mother money for raising you, for providing housing before you turned 19. It is absurd, but it will tie you up in court for years. I felt cold rage settle over me. She stole from me, and now she is going to sue me? Helen nodded. I thought you should know. I am also willing to provide a written statement about her intentions and the frivolous nature of the suit. It might help your lawyer shut it down before it starts. Thank you, I said. Why are you doing this? Because I have ethics, Helen said simply. And your mother does not. I took the information straight to Patrick. He was furious. This is harassment, he said. We need to go on offense. File your criminal complaint immediately. File the civil suit for your stolen money. Get a restraining order if necessary. We put her on the defensive so hard that her lawyer drops her. I nodded. Do it. All of it. Patrick moved fast. Within 2 days, all the paperwork was filed. Mom was served at home. Amanda called me, hysterical, begging me to stop. I am not trying to hurt you, I told her. But Mom needs to face consequences. She is all I have, Amanda sobbed. No, I said gently. You have me, and you have your baby. But you need to get away from Derek, and you need to stop protecting Mom. I cannot, Amanda said, and hung up. 2 days later, a package arrived at my office. Inside was a thick folder from Helen Torres. A note on top read, "You need to see this." I opened it. Inside were financial records, bank statements, and more canceled checks. My heart stopped as I read through them. Mom had not just stolen my $100,000. She had also stolen Amanda's. Amanda's check had been forged too. The entire $200,000 gone. Spent over 9 years on living expenses, Amanda's college, luxuries, and bad financial decisions. Amanda had no idea she had been robbed too, and now I had proof. I sat in my office for an hour, staring at the documents. Amanda had no clue. She thought Mom had sacrificed everything for her, worked herself to exhaustion, struggled to make ends meet. She had no idea that every dollar spent on her tuition, her apartment, her lifestyle, was her own inheritance. Mom had lied to everyone, including Amanda. I called my sister. She did not answer. I tried again. On the third attempt, she picked up. What do you want, Montgomery? Her voice was dull, lifeless. I need to see you, I said. In person. It is important. I do not want to see you right now. Amanda. Please, I have information you need to hear. It is about Mom, about the insurance money. Silence on the other end. Then, fine, but not at Mom's house. I am staying with my friend Carla right now. She gave me the address. I drove over immediately. Carla's apartment was small but clean, in a complex on the east side of town. Amanda answered the door, looking even more worn out than before. Her eyes were hollow, her face gaunt. We sat at Carla's kitchen table. Amanda wrapped her arms around her belly protectively. What is it? She asked. I pulled out the documents slowly. Amanda, I need you to look at something, but I need you to stay calm and hear me out. Just show me. I spread the papers across the table. The insurance policy, the 2 checks, the forged signatures, the bank records showing both checks were cashed on the same day. Amanda stared at them. Her brow furrowed. I do not understand. You said Mom took your money. I know that. She also took yours, I said quietly. Amanda's head snapped up. What? Your check was forged too. Look at the signature. That is not your handwriting. Amanda picked up the copy of her check with shaking hands. She stared at the signature on the back. When she was 18, she wrote with big, bubbly letters, dotting her as with hearts. This signature was angular, hasty, nothing like hers. This is not my signature, she whispered. I know, I said. Mom forged both our signatures. She cashed both checks. She took the entire $200,000. Amanda's face crumpled. But she said she sacrificed everything for me. She said she worked so hard to pay for my college. She paid for your college with your own money, I said. Money Dad left you. She stole it and spent it and made you think she was some kind of martyr. Amanda started crying, deep, wrenching sobs. She buried her face in her hands, her whole body shaking. I reached across the table and took her hand. She gripped it like a lifeline. "Why would she do this?" Amanda choked out. "Why would she lie to me?" "Because she is selfish," I said. "Because she wanted control. Because admitting the truth would mean admitting she failed us both." Amanda cried for a long time. I just sat there, holding her hand, letting her process. When she finally calmed down, she wiped her face with her sleeve and looked at me with red, swollen eyes. "I am so sorry, Montgomery." "You do not have to apologize," I said. "Yes, I do." I believed her. "I thought you were being selfish and cruel. I thought you abandoned us. But you were just protecting yourself from her." I nodded. "I tried to protect you too. But you would not listen." "I know." She made me feel like I owed her everything. Every decision I made, she was there, guilting me, manipulating me. She pushed me toward Derek, because he was easy to control. He had no family, no money, no prospects. She knew he would keep me dependent on her. I thought about that. It made a sick kind of sense. Amanda looked down at her belly. "I am having a baby with a man who has a record for beating women. My mom stole my inheritance. I have no money, no degree, and nowhere to go. What am I going to do?" "You are going to start over," I said. "You are going to leave Derek permanently. You are going to get a restraining order. And if you need a place to stay temporarily, you can stay with me. Guest room, no strings attached." Amanda's eyes filled with tears again. "You would let me stay with you? After everything?" "You are my sister," I said. "I am not going to abandon you just because Mom did." She nodded, wiping her eyes. Okay, I will do it. I will leave him. I will get the restraining order. And I want to join your lawsuit against Mom. I want my money back." "Good," I said. That evening, Amanda packed her things from Carla's apartment and moved into my guest room. It was strange having her in my house after so many years of distance, but it also felt right. We ordered pizza and sat on the couch, talking late into the night about everything. About Dad, about what life had been like after I left. About Derek. Amanda admitted she had been scared of Derek for months. He had a temper. He yelled, threw things, punched walls. He had never hit her. But she knew it was only a matter of time. When I showed her his arrest record, it confirmed what she already suspected deep down. "I filed for a restraining order the next day," she said. "The hearing is in a week." "I will come with you," I said. She smiled, small and sad. "Thank you." We were sitting there in comfortable silence when headlights flooded the front window. A car door slammed, heavy footsteps on the porch, pounding on the door. "Montgomery, open this door right now. Mom!" Amanda's face went white. "I do not want to see her." "You do not have to," I said. "Stay here." I went to the door, but did not open it. Mom was shouting through the wood. "I know Amanda is in there." "You turned her against me. You poisoned her mind with your lies." "I did not lie about anything," I called back. I showed her the truth. "You stole her from me." Mom screamed. "You are keeping her hostage. She is an adult," I said. "She can make her own choices. And she chose to leave you. You are going to regret this," Mom said, her voice turning cold. "I will call CPS when that baby is born. I will tell them you are a danger. I will make sure they take that child away from both of you. Threatening us is not going to help your case," I said. "Leave, or I'm calling the police." "This is my daughter," Mom yelled. "Mine, not yours. She is her own person," I said. "Now leave." Mom did not leave. She sat down on my porch, refusing to move. I called the police. Officer Santos showed up again, looking tired. "This is becoming a habit," she said. "Not by my choice," I replied. Santos convinced Mom to leave, but not before warning her about harassment and trespassing. Mom left, but not before screaming one last threat. "You have not won, Montgomery. I will destroy you." That night, I barely slept. I kept expecting more trouble. And it came. Just not in the way I expected. At 2 a.m, my phone exploded with notifications. Text messages. Emails. Social media alerts. I grabbed my phone, groggy and confused. Derek had posted my home address on social media. The post was a long, rambling rant about how I was holding Amanda hostage, poisoning her against her family, and trying to steal her baby. He included photos of my house and my car. He framed it as a call for help, asking people to contact me, to pressure me, to make me see reason. The post had been shared over 300 times. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "You are a monster," a woman's voice hissed. "Let that girl go." I hung up. It rang again. Another stranger. Another threat. I turned my phone off and went downstairs. Amanda was awake, sitting in the living room, staring at her own phone with horror on her face. "Derek posted about us," she said. "People think you are holding me prisoner." "I know," I said. "What are we going to do?" "We are going to set the record straight," I said. "But first, we are going to call the police." At 2:30 in the morning, a brick came through my front window, the one I had just repaired from Derek's break-in. Glass exploded across the living room floor. Attached to the brick was a note. "Let her go, or else." Officer Santos came back out, along with 2 other officers. They filed another report. They said they would increase patrols in the neighborhood, but they also said there was not much they could do about the social media post. It was not technically illegal, even though it was inciting harassment. By morning, I had received over 200 messages, dozens of them threatening violence. My work email had been found too. Colleagues started forwarding me messages they had received, asking if the accusations were true. My boss called me into his office. "Montgomery, what is going on?" He looked concerned, but also wary. I explained everything. The theft, the forgery, the break-in, Derek's criminal history, Amanda's decision to leave him. My boss listened, his expression softening. "I believe you," he said. "But this is affecting the company. We have had clients call asking about you. This needs to be resolved quickly." "I am working on it," I said. "Good, because I like you, Montgomery. But I cannot have this chaos spilling into our professional reputation." I understood. My career, my livelihood, everything I had built was at risk. Amanda and I spent the morning strategizing. She decided to fight back. She wrote a detailed post on social media, laying out the truth. Derek's violence, his criminal record, Mom's theft, the forgery, the break-in. She included screenshots of the police reports, which were public record. She explained that I was not holding her hostage. I was protecting her from an abusive man and a manipulative mother. She posted it. The response was immediate. The narrative flipped. People who had been sending me threats started apologizing. Others began sharing Amanda's post, praising her bravery. Derek's original post was reported and taken down for harassment. Local news picked up the story. A reporter called me, asking for an interview. I declined, but Amanda agreed to speak. She went on camera, 7 months pregnant, and told her story. She was calm, articulate, and heartbreaking. The segment aired that evening. The community response was overwhelming. Support poured in. Offers of help. Donations to a fund someone set up for Amanda and the baby. Messages of encouragement. Derek's social media went dark. People found his old accounts, his past scams, and started sharing them. He became a pariah, and then Patrick called with news. "Montgomery, Donald Pierce has withdrawn from your mother's case." "What?" He saw the evidence. He realized there is no case. Your mom tried to represent herself and filed some motions, but the judge dismissed them immediately. Her attempt to sue you is dead. And the criminal complaint? The prosecutor's office is moving forward. The forgery evidence is solid. Your mom is facing felony charges. I felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. "Good. There is more," Patrick said. "Derek violated his restraining order. He showed up at your workplace this morning. My blood ran cold. I was not there. I was working from home because of the social media disaster. Security called the police. Derek was arrested. His bail has been revoked. He is sitting in county jail right now, facing serious time." "How much time?" "With his priors and the multiple violations, he is looking at 18 months minimum." I exhaled slowly. "Okay, that is good. Montgomery, you did it. You fought back. You protected yourself and your sister. This is almost over." "Almost," I said. but not quite. That evening, Mom showed up at my door one last time. But this time, she was different. Quiet. Defeated. She knocked softly. I opened the door but did not let her in. Amanda came to stand beside me. "I just want to talk," Mom said. Her voice was small. "Then talk," I said. "I was wrong." She looked down at her hands. "I did terrible things. I stole from both of you. I lied. I manipulated. I pushed you away when you needed me, Montgomery. And I used you, Amanda. I am sorry." Amanda's jaw tightened. "You are only sorry because you got caught." "Maybe," Mom admitted, "but I am still sorry. I was scared when your dad died. I did not know how to handle everything. I made bad choices. And then I kept making them because I was too proud to admit I was wrong. That does not excuse what you did," I said. "I know," Mom said. "I do not expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I understand now. What I took from you. What I destroyed. And I am sorry." She turned to leave, then paused. "Amanda, you are going to be a wonderful mother, better than I ever was. And Montgomery, your father would be proud of you. Not of me. Of you." She walked away, got into her car, and drove off. Amanda was crying silently. I put my arm around her shoulders. "Do you think she meant it?" she asked. "I think she wants to mean it," I said. "Whether she actually changes, that is up to her." The next day, something incredible happened. Patrick called with news that left me speechless. "Montgomery, I just got off the phone with an attorney named Grace Palmer. She represents your father's former employer." "Okay," I said cautiously. "They did an audit recently. They found an administrative error from 9 years ago. Your father had 2 life insurance policies through the company, not one." "What?" "The second policy was smaller, $50,000, split between you and Amanda. $25,000 each. It was never claimed because no one knew about it. The funds have been sitting in an unclaimed property account, accruing interest. After 9 years, your share is now worth $38,000. Amanda's too." I could not speak. "Montgomery, you are getting a check for $38,000. And so is Amanda." I hung up and told Amanda. She stared at me, then burst into tears. But this time, they were tears of relief. "We made it," she whispered. "We actually made it. The brick through the window should have been the end of it. But it was just the beginning of the worst 72 hours of my life." After Amanda posted her truth on social media and the narrative started shifting in our favor, I thought we had turned a corner. I was wrong. Derek's friends, the ones who believed his lies, did not let it go. Even after the post was taken down, even after Amanda's interview aired, there were still people who thought I was the villain. My home address was out there now, screenshots saved and shared in private groups. The harassment did not stop. It evolved. On Wednesday morning, I woke up to find my car keyed. Deep, angry scratches across both sides, the word liar gouged into the driver's side door. I filed another police report. Officer Santos came out again, and I could see the frustration in her eyes. She was doing everything she could, but there were limits to what the law could do against anonymous vandalism. At work, things got worse. Even though my boss believed me, not everyone did. A senior partner at the firm pulled me aside and suggested I take a leave of absence until things calmed down. It was framed as a suggestion, but I heard the real message. "You are becoming a liability." I refused. I had worked too hard to let someone else's lies destroy my career. But the tension was there, hovering over every meeting, every interaction. Thursday afternoon, Amanda had a prenatal checkup. I drove her to the clinic, and we were ambushed by a local blogger who had latched onto the story. She shoved a camera in our faces, asking invasive questions about Derek, about the baby, about whether Amanda was being coerced. Amanda froze, overwhelmed, and I had to physically shield her to get her inside. That video went online within an hour, edited to make me look aggressive and controlling. Patrick called me that evening. "Montgomery, we need to talk about strategy. This is escalating." "I know," I said, exhausted. "What do we do?" "We file for an emergency restraining order against anyone connected to Derek who is harassing you. We also consider a cease and desist against that blogger. But honestly, The best thing that could happen right now is for Derek to stay locked up and for your mom's case to move forward quickly. Once the legal system validates your story, public opinion will follow. And until then, you keep your head down and you protect Amanda. That night, Amanda could not sleep. She sat in the guest room, staring at her phone, reading comments on the videos and posts. I found her at 3 in the morning, tears streaming down her face. "They think I am weak," she said. "They think I am stupid for staying with Derek as long as I did. They think I am a bad mother before my baby is even born." "You are not weak," I said, sitting beside her. "You are surviving. And you are making the right choices now. That is what matters." "What if they are right?" she whispered. "What if I am a terrible mother?" "You are not going to be," I said firmly. "You are already protecting your baby by getting away from Derek. You are already doing the right thing." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Thank you for not giving up on me." "I never will," I said. Friday morning, the breakthrough came. Amanda made a decision. She was done being silent, done being a victim. She called a press conference. Well, not a formal one, but she reached out to the reporter who had interviewed her before and asked to do a follow-up. This time, she wanted to go live on the news station's social media. The reporter agreed. That afternoon, Amanda sat in front of a camera in our living room and told her story again, but this time with more detail. She talked about Derek's control, his anger, his lies about his past. She talked about Mom's manipulation, the stolen money, the years of guilt and obligation. She talked about me, about how I had every reason to turn my back on her but did not. And then she held up the police reports, the background checks, the bank records. She showed everything. "I am not a victim," she said, looking directly into the camera. "I am a survivor, and I am not going to let anyone make me feel ashamed for choosing to protect myself and my baby. My brother did not kidnap me. He saved me. And if you are out there in a situation like mine, where someone is controlling you, lying to you, or making you feel like you owe them your life, I want you to know, you do not. You deserve better, and it is never too late to choose yourself." The video went viral. Within 6 hours, it had over 2 million views. The comments section was flooded with support. People shared their own stories of escaping abuse, of cutting off toxic family members, of rebuilding from nothing. Derek's remaining defenders went silent. By Saturday morning, the harassment had stopped. My phone was still getting messages, but now they were supportive, apologetic, people sending donations, offering help, praising Amanda's courage. My boss called me. "Montgomery, I saw your sister's interview. I owe you an apology. I should have trusted you from the start." "Thank you," I said. "Take Monday off if you need it. But when you come back, we are going to make sure everyone here knows the truth." I appreciated that more than I could say. Patrick called with more good news. "The prosecutor's office formally charged your mother with 2 counts of forgery and 2 counts of theft. She is looking at serious consequences." "What kind of consequences?" "If convicted, she could face up to 5 years in prison. But given her age and lack of prior record, she will probably get a plea deal. Probation, restitution, community service. And the restitution? She will be ordered to pay back the full amount she stole, plus interest. It will take her years, maybe decades, but the judgment will stand." "Good," I said. "What about Amanda's restraining order against Derek?" "Hearing is Monday. With his arrest record and the jail time he is facing, it will be granted, permanently. And Derek's sentence, with the breaking and entering, the assault, the restraining order violations, and his priors, he is looking at 18 months minimum. His lawyer is trying to negotiate a plea, but the DA is not budging. Derek made himself a very unsympathetic defendant." I felt the weight on my chest start to lift. "It is really over, isn't it?" "Not quite," Patrick said. "But we are close." Sunday was quiet. Amanda and I spent the day doing normal things. We went grocery shopping, cooked dinner together, watched a movie. It felt surreal after the chaos of the past week, but it also felt like healing. That evening, as we were cleaning up the kitchen, Amanda asked, "Do you think Mom will ever really change?" I do not know, I said honestly. I think she understands what she did was wrong. But understanding and changing are two different things. Do you think we will ever have a relationship with her again? I thought about that. Maybe. Someday. But it will never be what it was. And that is okay. We get to decide what our family looks like now. Amanda nodded. I like that. Choosing our family. Me too, I said. Monday morning came, and Amanda's restraining order hearing was scheduled for 10. Patrick met us at the courthouse. Derek was there too, in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffed, flanked by 2 guards. When he saw Amanda, he tried to say something, but the judge cut him off. Mr. Hayes, you will have your chance to speak, but not until I ask you to. The hearing was quick. Amanda testified about Derek's behavior, his control, his violence. I testified about the break-in and the assault. The prosecutor presented Derek's criminal history. Derek's lawyer tried to argue that Derek was just a desperate man trying to provide for his girlfriend and unborn child, but the judge was not buying it. Restraining order granted, the judge said. Permanently. Mr. Hayes, you are not to contact Miss Amanda Hayes in any way, directly or indirectly, for the rest of your life. If you violate this order, you will face additional charges. Do you understand? Derek nodded, his face red with anger. And, regarding your other charges, the judge continued, your trial is set for next month. Until then, you will remain in custody. Bail is denied. Derek was led away, shouting obscenities. Amanda watched him go, her face calm. I am free, she said quietly. Yes, I said. You are. That afternoon, Patrick called with the final piece of news. Your mother accepted a plea deal. She pleaded guilty to all charges. Suspended sentence, 3 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and full restitution. The judge ordered her to repay $260,000 to you and Amanda, split evenly. $130,000 each. How long will it take? Probably the rest of her life, Patrick said. She has no assets, no significant income. The court will garnish her wages, but it will be a trickle. You might see a few thousand a year if you are lucky. I do not care about the money anymore, I said. I just wanted her to face consequences. She has, Patrick said, and the judgment stands on record forever. She can never deny what she did. Good, I said. But the best news came 2 days later. Grace Palmer, the attorney from Dad's former employer, called me personally. Mr. Hayes, your check is ready. $38,000. And Miss Amanda Hayes' check is also ready. Would you like to pick them up, or should we mail them? We will pick them up, I said. Amanda and I drove to the insurance company's office together. Grace met us in the lobby, a kind woman in her 60s with a warm smile. She handed us each an envelope. Your father set these policies up to take care of you, she said. I am sorry it took so long for you to receive this one, but I am glad we found it. Thank you, Amanda said, her voice thick with emotion. We sat in my car in the parking lot, staring at the checks. $38,000 each. It was not the full inheritance we had been owed, but it was something, a gift from Dad, reaching across 9 years, still trying to take care of us. He would be proud of you, Amanda said, of both of us. I think so too, I said. We deposited the checks that afternoon. For the first time in a long time, the future felt possible. 3 months later, Amanda gave birth to a healthy baby girl. I was in the delivery room with her, holding her hand while she screamed through contractions. When Caroline finally arrived, tiny and red-faced and wailing, Amanda cried harder than I had ever seen. She is perfect, Amanda whispered, cradling her daughter. She is perfect and she is mine. I looked at my niece, at her impossibly small fingers wrapped around Amanda's thumb, and felt something shift in my chest. This was what it was all about, this tiny person, brand new and full of possibility. She would grow up knowing she was wanted, knowing she was safe, knowing her mother fought like hell to give her a better life. Derek tried to contact Amanda twice from jail. Both times, the messages were intercepted by the court system and documented as restraining order violations. His lawyer advised him to stop, and eventually, he did. His trial came and went. He was sentenced to 18 months in county jail, followed by 3 years probation. His parental rights were restricted to supervised visitation only, and only after his release. Amanda made it clear she would fight any attempt he made to be part of Caroline's life. He signed away his rights 3 months after Caroline was born. Amanda's lawyer said it was the best outcome. Derek knew he had no case, no sympathy, and no leverage. He gave up. Caroline would grow up without a father, but she would grow up safe. Mom's restitution payments started coming in, $60 a month. It was almost laughable, but Patrick said it was the best the court could do given her financial situation. She was working at a grocery store, living in a tiny studio apartment on the other side of town. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she was attending court-mandated therapy and seemed genuinely remorseful. 6 months after Caroline was born, Mom sent a letter, not to me directly, but through Patrick, who forwarded it after confirming it was not threatening. The letter was handwritten, shaky, filled with apologies and regrets. She wrote about Dad, about how scared she was when he died, about how she convinced herself that taking the money was justified. She wrote about Amanda, about how she pushed her toward Derek because she wanted to keep her close and dependent. She wrote about me, about how my independence terrified her because it meant she was losing control. I know you will probably never forgive me, she wrote. I do not deserve forgiveness. But I want you to know that I see what I did now. I destroyed our family because I was too proud and too scared to admit I was failing. You and Amanda deserved better. You deserved a mother who supported you instead of using you. I am sorry. I read the letter 3 times, then put it in a drawer. I was not ready to respond. Maybe I never would be, but I kept it. Amanda received a similar letter. She cried when she read it, then asked me what I thought she should do. That is up to you, I said. You do not owe her anything. Not forgiveness, not a relationship, nothing. But she is my mom, Amanda said. She is, I agreed, but that does not mean you have to let her back into your life. You get to decide what you need. Amanda thought about it for a long time. Eventually, she decided to allow supervised visits with Caroline. Once a month, at a neutral location, with me present. Mom agreed to the terms without argument. The first visit was awkward and painful. Mom cried the entire time, holding Caroline gently, whispering apologies that the baby could not understand. Amanda watched with guarded eyes, arms crossed, ready to intervene at any moment, but nothing bad happened. Mom was respectful, grateful, and humble. She did not ask for more. She did not push. The visits continued. Slowly, carefully, a fragile new relationship formed. It would never be what it was before. The trust was gone. The bond shattered. But it was something. A thin thread connecting them. Built on honesty and boundaries, instead of obligation and guilt. I was slower to forgive. I allowed brief, occasional contact, but I kept Mom at arm's length. She respected that. She sent birthday cards, holiday messages, updates on her life. I responded politely but distantly. Maybe one day I would feel differently. But for now, this was enough. My career recovered. The firm promoted me to senior project manager, a position I had been working toward for years. My reputation was not just restored but strengthened. Colleagues respected how I handled the crisis, how I protected my family while maintaining my integrity. I started dating someone. Her name was Laura, and she was a second-grade teacher at an elementary school across town. We met at a community fundraiser for domestic violence survivors, an event Amanda had helped organize. Laura was funny, kind, and refreshingly normal. She knew about my past, about the chaos with my family, and she did not run. Instead, she admired how I handled it. We took things slow, but there was something real there, something good. Amanda thrived. She finished her degree online, earning her diploma while caring for a newborn. It took her an extra year, but she did it. She got a job at a marketing firm, working remotely part-time while Caroline napped. The money from Dad's second insurance policy gave her a safety net, which she used wisely. She rented a small apartment near my house, close enough that we could support each other but far enough that she had her independence. She was a phenomenal mother, patient, attentive, fierce when she needed to be. Watching her with Caroline, I saw the person she was always meant to be, the person Mom's manipulation had buried for so long. One Sunday afternoon, 9 months after Caroline was born, Amanda and I sat on my back porch while Caroline napped in her stroller. The weather was perfect, warm with a light breeze, the kind of day that makes you grateful to be alive. Do you ever think about how different things could have been? Amanda asked, sipping iced tea. All the time, I said. What if you had just given up on me? What if you had let me stay with Derek and Mom and never fought back? Then you would probably be miserable, I said. And Caroline would be growing up in a dangerous situation. Amanda nodded slowly. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. You are my sister, I said. I will always fight for you. But I will not let anyone, including family, destroy what I have built. That is not selfish. That is survival. I understand that now, Amanda said. For so long, I thought love meant sacrificing everything. But that is not love. That is control. Exactly, I said. She looked at me, her eyes serious. Do you think we will ever be completely okay? Like, healed? I think we are healing, I said. And that is enough. Caroline stirred in her stroller, making small baby noises. Amanda lifted her out, cradling her close. Caroline blinked up at her mother with wide, trusting eyes. I am going to make sure she never feels the way I did, Amanda said softly. She is going to know she is loved for who she is, not for what she can give me. She is going to know she has choices, and she is going to know that boundaries are healthy, not selfish. She will, I said. Because you are going to teach her. We sat there together, the three of us, and for the first time in years, I felt at peace. A year after everything fell apart, I found myself in the same place where it all started. My home office, reviewing blueprints. But everything was different now. The window Derek had smashed was repaired, stronger than before with reinforced glass. Amanda and Caroline lived 10 minutes away in a cozy apartment filled with toys and laughter. Derek was out of jail but living 2 states away, having violated probation once and been told in no uncertain terms that any further contact would result in more jail time. He stayed away. Mom was still making her $60 monthly payments, still attending therapy, still respecting our boundaries. And me? I was okay. More than okay, actually. Laura and I had been dating for 8 months, and it was the healthiest relationship I had ever had. She met Amanda and Caroline and fit into our lives like she had always been there. We talked about the future sometimes, carefully, but with real hope. My career was thriving. The firm had just landed a major contract, and I was leading the project. The chaos of the previous year felt like a distant memory, something that happened to a different version of me. But the lessons stayed. I learned that you can love someone and still protect yourself from them. I learned that real family is not about blood or obligation, but about respect and mutual support. I learned that fighting back does not make you cruel. Sometimes, it is the most loving thing you can do. I learned that boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to healthier relationships. And I learned that you can rebuild from nothing. That the life you create for yourself, through hard work and integrity and sheer stubborn determination, is more valuable than anything handed to you. One evening, Amanda brought Caroline over for dinner. I cooked pasta, and we ate together at my kitchen table. Caroline was a year old now, babbling and laughing, throwing food on the floor with the gleeful chaos of a toddler. Amanda looked happier than I had ever seen her. I got a promotion, she announced, grinning. That is amazing, I said. Tell me everything. She told me about her new role, about the raise, about how her boss praised her creativity and work ethic. She glowed with pride, and I felt my chest swell with it too. I am proud of you, I said. You worked so hard for this. I learned from the best, she said, nodding at me. After dinner, after Caroline had been put down in the portable crib I kept at my house for nights like this, Amanda and I sat on the couch with glasses of wine. Do you ever think about what Dad would say if he could see us now? She asked. I think he would be proud, I said. Not just of what we accomplished, but of how we did it. With integrity, without becoming like the people who hurt us. Amanda nodded. I think so too. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, and then Amanda said, I saw Mom last week. How was it? Better. She is really trying, Montgomery. I do not know if I will ever fully forgive her. But I think I am getting to a place where I can accept what happened and move forward. That is good. I said. You deserve that peace. So do you, Amanda said, looking at me. Do you think you will ever forgive her? I thought about it. Maybe. Someday. But I do not feel pressure to. I am okay with where things are now. Fair enough, Amanda said. Before she left that night, Amanda hugged me tight. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. For fighting for me when I could not fight for myself. For showing me what real strength looks like. You did the hard part, I said. You chose to leave. You chose to build a new life. I just gave you a safe place to start. She pulled back, smiling through tears. We make a good team. We do, I agreed. After they left, I stood in my living room and looked around. This house, the one I bought with my own money after years of struggle, had become more than just a building. It was proof that you can survive betrayal, rebuild from nothing, and create something beautiful on your own terms. People will try to guilt you into sacrificing yourself for their comfort. They will call it love, call it family, call it duty. But real love does not destroy you. Real family does not steal from you. And duty goes both ways. I learned that the hard way. I also learned that you can rebuild from nothing. That boundaries are acts of love. That sometimes the family you create is stronger than the family you are born into. If you are out there struggling with people who take and call you selfish for having limits, hear me. You are not wrong for protecting yourself. You are not cruel for demanding respect. And you are not alone. Build your life. Protect your peace. The people who truly love you will understand. The ones who do not? That tells you everything you need to know. My name is Montgomery Hayes. I was thrown out at 19, robbed of my inheritance, and told I was selfish for refusing to sacrifice my future for people who did not value me. I fought back. I built a life. I protected my sister. And I learned that standing up for yourself is not selfishness. It is survival. And survival, I learned, is the first step toward thriving. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family members who demanded more than you could give? How did you handle it? What did you learn? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your stories matter. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories about resilience, justice, and finding your way through the hardest moments. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, someone struggling with toxic family dynamics or trying to rebuild after betrayal, please share this video with them. Sometimes, knowing you are not alone makes all the difference. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it gave you something valuable, whether that is courage, validation, or just the reminder that you deserve respect. Take care of yourselves, protect your peace, and remember, you are stronger than you think.